3 years ago, we bought our first home. It was modest, it was ours, and our neighbors were wonderful. Life felt safe. 18 months later, those neighbors decided to sell. Their house was bigger. It had a driveway, a garage, even a bathtub. So we bought it. And we put our old home, right next door, up for sale. After reviewing letters from interested buyers, we chose a Polish couple. They were polite, warm even. They asked for tips about the house. We gave them advice. We smiled. We had no idea what we were letting in. At first, it was small things. Loud music in the middle of the night. Heavy banging through the walls at midnight. Nothing you could report. Nothing you could prove. Just a feeling. The kind that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Then came the car. The husband came home one day with deep scrapes on both sides of his vehicle. It looked like he'd been squeezed between two walls at speed. His explanation? A concrete pole on one side, a turning trailer on the other. Both at the same time. We chose to believe him. We shouldn't have. One evening around 6 p.m., he called us in a panic. He said people were outside turning his cameras away and begged us to call the police. We looked out. 2 men were breaking into the house. We called immediately. The police took 20 minutes. By the time they arrived, the men were gone. His wife rushed home, terrified for their dog. But something didn't sit right. Instead of running straight to his house, the husband parked his car 3 streets away and walked back. Later, I checked our doorbell footage. Before the break-in, one of the men had been standing outside, calmly speaking Polish, deciding which house to target. Nothing was stolen. No one was arrested. It felt staged. I told the police. I never heard back. A week later, I was at a party when my partner texted me. The music next door is insanely loud again. Then he called. Our neighbor's car had just crashed through our front garden and slammed into his own front door. 2 men were loading flat-screen TVs, speakers, and expensive electronics into the car as fast as they could. They looked like the same men from the week before. This time, police arrived in 7 minutes. They intercepted the men while they were still loading the car. When asked for ID, they claimed they didn't have any. Then one of them looked the officer in the eyes and gave our neighbor's real name. But here's the strange part. In 9 months, our neighbor had never spoken a word of Dutch. This man spoke fluent Dutch, with a thick Polish accent. The officers closed in. The men fled, leading police on a violent chase through quiet suburban streets until they were boxed in and arrested. 3 suspects. But when officers went back inside the house, there was still movement. A 3rd man was dragged out. While we were inside documenting damage to our property, the doorbell rang. We opened the door. It was our neighbor. His face was swollen and bloody. One eye completely shut, his mouth torn, his arm hanging limp, covered in what looked like defensive stab wounds, the kind you get when you're trying to survive. Police tried to question him, but he refused to cooperate. Without a statement, they sent him back to his house. Later that night, he rang our bell again. He was trembling. He confessed that he had cheated on his wife and claimed she had sent men to kill him. He begged to sleep at our house. We said no. My partner drove him to the hospital instead. We told him we would stay elsewhere that night. We didn't. We went home and locked every door. At 1 a.m., our dog began to growl. Not barking, not playing. That low growl he only makes when someone is at the door. We checked the camera. He was back, standing on our porch, ringing the bell over and over again. We sat in the dark, watching. Then headlights appeared. A car turned onto the street. He panicked. He scrambled off the porch and crouched behind our cars in the driveway, hiding in the shadows. A bloodied, broken man crouching between our vehicles in the dark. The car stopped. His wife stepped out. She walked toward her front door, then paused. She turned toward our driveway. She saw him. She stepped forward into the pale glow of the street lamp and began to wail. A sound I will never forget. Grief, rage, terror, all at once. He said nothing. Eventually, they both got into the car and drove away. We didn't see them for 3 days. When the wife came back alone, she told us she didn't think she would ever see her husband again. Drugs, debt, a marriage turned violent. Whatever the real truth was behind that door, I don't think I want to know.